Hello, my friends. It's that time again. Another entry in the tour of my Garbage Pail Kids collection. Today we'll be looking at series 8, 9, and 10, original series. So you'll see that I have here listed, we begin at 293A with a capital A to 417B, lowercase b. So for pretty much every original series, except series 8, the letters on the cards were in lowercase. I don't know what happened with Series 8, if they were just trying something new, or if somebody had caps lock on by mistake, or what, but you'll notice that for Series 8, all the letters are in uppercase. Yeah, so that's a weird thing. We start off Series 8 with a bang, with a guy sticking his finger right through his head while picking his nose. Lovely. We have this guy who is looks like he's gonna start streaking, but he's actually like peeling back skin to reveal clothes. It's very strange. I like the sort of dramatic lighting on this one though. It's pretty cool. And again, I'm struggling with lighting. How does this look? Any better? It's a little bit better. Anyway, then we've got this particularly gross one where we've got a carousel horse that appears to be an actual impaled horse. It's pretty awful. In terms of backs, we once again have these dumb comics in the back for a number of them, as well as these fake ads for fake products. And then, of course, we have the puzzle piece backs. And once again, the main variation with this series is the 1 and 2 star backs for the different printings. Let's move along. Got this flower guy who's getting torn apart. Here's another holiday one, Yuletide and Merry Christmas. You'll see that it seems like a pretty nice Christmas, and then you look a little bit closer, what's beneath the tree, and ooh, something weird's going on there. Knives, broken toys. Pretty strange stuff. All right, and then we've got well, this is a particularly gruesome one. We've had a Garbage Pail Kid before where the room was filled with like his drool, his spit, or whatever. But now this one is full of blood. That's really a lot of blood. Bloody Mary. And we've got Donna Donor. This guy getting the hockey puck slammed through his face. Buck puck, lol goal. And we've got another couple of landscape guys. Smokey Joe, Karina Corona. This is another one of these endlessly repeated things, which they did a number of times. This time it's a cigarette, smoking a cigar, I should say. Smoking a cigar, smoking a cigar, smoking a cigar, infinitely. Then we've got this bowling one. This is pretty cool. Very dynamic action shot going on here. There's the alternate version. Then we've got Mixed Up Mick. It's an instant Garbage Pail Kid. Just add water. This one is interesting. You'll see that the logo only appears on the box. There's not the usual overarching logo above the up on the top of the card. It's actually just on that box, so it's kind of neat. Here's a dude hanging up in a closet with a hanger through his mouth. Does not look very fun. This one is a sponge. Yeah, and these ones that don't have any I don't have a double of, are just puzzle piece backs. They don't have any asterisks on them, so there's just the one version for each of those. But these other guys have the asterisks up here. We've got this guy who's being graded. I guess he's a potato. Yeah, veggie. And then we've got this fridge one. Midge fridge, leftover Grover. I believe for this one, You'll see I only have one Midge fridge, but I have 2 leftover Grovers. And these are puzzle piece packs, so it's not an asterisk variation. I believe there's like a little error on this card somewhere. But it's one of those like really obscure ones. It's difficult to spot. Okay. I think I see it. Yeah, so let me see if I can show this to you. On this version of the card, there's this tiny spot at the bottom that looks like there's like a puddle of green slime just there under the name. This one does not have the puddle of green slime. So it's just a very small variation error that collectors look for. So I've got that one. We've got this guy in the toilet. I like this one. It's an interesting like angle, like looking down into the toilet, and he's got this like wetsuit on and he's climbing out with a fish. Plus, it's another one where the picture is interacting with the logo, which is always fun. Then we've got another business logo parody here of the forget, was it Sony or RCA? I don't know, but it looks like some peeing is about to occur here. LP record, Fritz Spritz. And then we've got this guy. Cupid has fired his arrow backwards and knocked his own heart out of his chest. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, some pretty brutal, violent ones in this series. Here's a stinky octopus. Very strange. I guess the idea being that an octopus has multiple armpits, so they're all very smelly armpits. This spewing water spout on this guy. It's pretty gross. Mobile and Danglin. Graham Bell and Death Knell. So we have a lot of Garbage Pail Kids in this series that are like objects, been transformed into objects. This guy's taking a shower with garbage. That's cool. Flo and Owen. Brussels spout. Here's a fellow with some hot sauce. So this one, it looks like I am missing one of these. Yeah, so I have the 1 star of James Flames, but I do not have the 2 star. But I do have the 1 and 2 star of Burnin' Vernon. Then we've got this is a pretty great one. Haley's Vomit. Gross, but it's just kind of neat. The astronaut suit and the space view of space in the background. I always like the space ones. Interstellar. And then there's the hand puppet that is cutting off the hand. Chopped Susie, Shanna Saw. Pumping Aaron. And Will Explode. I like that name. That's a good one. Will Explode. Here's a squashed guy. Squash Josh. Oh, that's my dog. Okay. And we got Squoze Rose. This one is pretty gross. Pretty gross. I like this one. Again, we're interacting with the logo. He's like got his neck swung over the logo so he can use his own head as a punching bag. KO'd Carl and Sparrin' Warren. They've definitely used that KO'd joke before. I don't think it was a Carl though. We've got a wedding cake here with the GPK on the top of the cake getting cut in half. Pizza Lisa and Wedding Bella. Here's one that's been turned into a waffle. Here's a guy who's been put into a package. Handle with Karen. Marcel Parcel. Leather Heather. That one's a little intense, huh? Chain Shane. Needled Nina. Knitting Brittany. Always like this one again. I always like the ones that have a Garbage Pail Kid on the Garbage Pail Kid. So you can see that this is a skull with a candle on it, and then like scattered under the skull are other Garbage Pail Kids. So that's fun. We've got like a flaming insect flying away from the candle in front of the logo. That's cool. Yeah, Glowing Amber and Bright Dwight. So those guys are fun. Another snotty one, Lem Flem and Gazoon Tidy. That's pretty funny. But you can see, really, at this point, they're definitely running out of ideas. I mean, they started to pretty early on, but now it's getting really... They're either doing really strange stuff, or they're just doing stuff that's just like, here's one that's sneezing out his ears. Duplicate with the copier. I like this guy. This guy's pretty neat. He's got a monster in his belly is like a cage for this monster. That's fascinating. Tommy Ache. We've got another landscape guy here, Sling Scott. And Teddy Aimfire. They got some pretty great names, though, in this series, I have to say. Here's Orthodonty. That is unfortunate for that fellow. Ruth Canal. And here's Ashley to Ashes. Rest in pieces, GPK. And Dustin to Dust. It's a good pair there for the end of this series. And for this series, I again have a wrapper. It's got our Cupid card that you'll remember seeing earlier, shooting his own heart out. So that's fun. Now we can move on to our next series. It is, which one are we on now? We're on series 9. And we start this one with a landscape one. We've got this girl sticking a Q-tip all the way through her head, and there's even a candle made of her earwax on the end of the Q-tip. This guy, so again, they always try to pull in like whatever's hot at the time and do a parody of it. This is the laser tag guy. Laser Ray. Laser tag was huge at the time. Sizzlin' Sid. This poor little fellow is being fed to gigantic birds, or maybe he's just very small. I don't know. But oh, and you'll see we're now once again back to lowercase. It's only that one series, series 8, that has the uppercase letters. C. Sawyer. I mean, of the original series, I believe that in some future series, further on, they do use uppercase again. But in terms of original series, and yeah, oddly enough, the checklists tend to have the letters in uppercase. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. We're jumping rope with Snot, lovely. Snot Rope Hope and Drippy Debbie. And we've got another landscape guy here, Roland Rolanda and Half-Baked Betty. And the backs here, we've got the checklist backs and puzzle piece backs so far. And we can swing this around and take a look at these. So these are more of our dumb comics. Although these are sort of less comics and more like, oh yeah, Would We Lie to You, it says. These are like amazing stories about the Garbage Pail Kid characters. Now we're juicing this fellow that we've cut in half. Juicy Bruce and Fruity Rudy. Gym equipment. That's pretty intense. Buddy Builder. This is another one of these like infinite regression ones. This guy is holding the bars of a mouth, and then inside of him there's someone holding his mouth bars, and so on and so forth inside. That's an interesting one. I always kind of liked that one. Convict and Alcatraz. Got the clever names again. And this is an interesting one where we have the back is a portrait orientation, which is not for a lot of these, landscape has become the standard for the backs, but now this one's in portrait. And again, this is another one of this Would We Lie to You series of backs for this series. This one is pretty weird. This guy has become like stretched over this building. This one is particularly gross. I don't know why. There's just something really gross about this one. It's like his brain is a cereal. Ugh. This one is really gross too. Look at, he's peeling his skin off, and there's like a series of different skins in the closet. Like, oh man, wow. That's Skinless and Peeled Paul. And we've got Damn Dan and Mike Dyke, who's trying to... This is, of course, from an old fairy tale. Trying to hold back the flood there. Plain Jane and Woody shop. This is a cool one I've always liked. Polluted Percy and Barnacle Bill, who's got a fishbowl for a head. But it's, of course, a Garbage Pail Kid, so it's like a polluted, awful fishbowl with dead fish and garbage. And we've got this one's kind of neat. The colors and all the bubbles that are affecting the logo. It's pretty fun. Misty Suds and Amelia Airhead. More of these "Would We Lie to You" backs. They're telling you these ridiculous stories. Cheryl Peril and Deflatin' Nathan. Some nice details on that one in colors. This one is interesting. We've got Herman Hormone and Turned On Ron. It's getting a little racy because he's looking at Play Toy magazine, the centerfold clearly, and he himself is the centerfold. It looks like it's unfolding like the magazine. Very strange. And so we had a Bazooka Joe earlier. Now we've got Bazooka Joanne, who has really quite a lot of gum all over her. And there's also Bubbly Babs. Then we've got a GPK here who himself is actually a shark. Clark Shark Man-Eater, eating a person. That one's a little strange. This one is kind of a classic, at least as far as I'm concerned. Beastie Boyd and Semi-Colon. This one is also, there's a very difficult to get rare version of the Semi-Colon card, where for whatever reason they did not print a number on the card at all. So I have a space for that here, but I'm probably not going to get that one because it is difficult, very difficult to get for less than, a ridiculous amount of money that I really can't countenance paying for a single card. Those are hard to get, the no number Semi-Colon. But it's a cool card. There's like half a monster. It's nicely done. Then we've got another one that's a parody of a famous painting. The actual famous painting is on the wall in the background, which is pretty funny. And then we've got the GPK version in the front getting electrocuted. Mamma Mia and Electric Shari. Electric Shari. Shari. I guess it's supposed to sound like chair. I don't know. This one is fun. It's like this. It's done in this 3D kind of. He's reading a 3D comic, and it's got the blue and red overlaid images, like you're looking at a 3D comic yourself. I wonder what this looks like wearing 3D 3D glasses. If it actually looks 3D, I'm not sure. Blurry Blair. Then we got to turn this around. We got this guy who's a Swiss Army knife. And we've got a firefighter who is actually not fighting the fire, but helping the fire. Kerosene Kerry, Blazing Blake. More snot. This time it's a gun that shoots snot. They always find fun new ways to have snot come out of a character. Here's a guy who's been sliced into bits and is somehow still hanging around. Here's a GPK who's actually dog food. This one, they've almost completely obscured the logo with the picture. It's kind of interesting. Dog food. And Nick Yick. Oh, I see. Sliding Sloan, he's just burning up on that slide. Flamin' Damon. Here's a guy who's flypaper. Sticky Ricky. Gooey Louie. Shrapnel, pretty good name. And Hannah Grenade. And we've got more of these What Would We Lie to You backs. That was their back for this series. Here's this guy living in the sewer here. Lowlife Lola and Sis Pool. This one is Toothpaste. Yeah. And of course they had to make it a little bit. You got to add that little grossness to it. So of course the guy who's about to use the toothpaste has this really disgusting looking teeth and pimples, and yeah. This one's fun. Guy juggling his heads and he's dropped one. doesn't seem to mind. Juggling Judd. This guy, I believe, was on the, I think he was on the wrapper for this series. Scalped Ralph, Bonehead Fred. He certainly was a puzzle. You see the completed puzzle over here of that guy. This poor fellow has lost his hands. Cement and Quentin minus Hans. This one I like. I like the colors on this one and just the look of it. Griffin, and plus that's the name of my son, Griffin, so it's kind of fun. Wrench. This fellow who's got his tongue stuck. Jack Frost. Window pane. And there's another one looking down into a toilet, but instead of a guy climbing out, it's a guy who's like living on a tiny island in the toilet. So that one's pretty fun too. Desi Island and Marooned Maureen. We've got some cheese, Swiss Chris, cheesy Chandra. This one's strange. This fellow has another person on his butt, a face. Trapdora, Rearview Myra. I guess it's a girl. Wretchin Gretchen. This was a weird one. Looks like they're made of like different pieces of cloth, and they're barfing up more cloth. This one is very creepy. Closet Clyde. It's like, we saw earlier one where the guy was taking his skin off and hanging it up, and now this is the whole guy being hung up. We did see one earlier also, actually, who was being hung up in a closet, but he had the hanger in his mouth. It wasn't quite as creepy as this one. It was like the green skin and the flesh hanging off. Hooked Howie. Ugh, that one is creepy. This one is pretty awful too. Empty Emmy. Ugh. It's like an empty skin nailed to the wall. This series, some of these later series get pretty gruesome. Ragged Aggie. And yes, I was right about that guy being on the wrapper. I have a bunch of different wrappers for this one. I don't know if these are all different variations or if I just happen to have a bunch of them. They were all pretty good. All in pretty good shape, so I just kept them all. They don't really seem to have much variation between them, so I think I just included a bunch of them. Maybe they have different stuff on the wrapper. Well, that one says sweatshirt, and this one says t-shirt. So there is a variation there. And this one is this one is pretty funny. It has an ad for the Garbage Pail Kids movie on the back, which is actually not that bad a movie, actually. I kind of enjoy it. And now we're moving on to the 10th series, which begins with this poor person who's having serious trouble going to the bathroom. So we have Locked Dorian and Sydney Kidney, and you'll see I have an entire page of this guy. So let's have a look at the backs. So this is one where there were a bunch of different backs for the same card. So we had the example of the completed puzzle back, which had a 1 and 2 stars. Then we had a comic. So they went back to the comics for this series, with the fake products on them. So let's see. These are all the same guy, yeah. And again, so they had one with this red Garbage Gang logo with this comic on it, and then they have another back with the blue Garbage Gang logo and a different comic. And that's all the same card with all those different backs. So, and of course, for each of the backs, there's 1 star and 2 star versions. So that's like, let's see, so 6 different backs, 6 different cards. That 6 different copies you want of that same card, because you got the 1 and 2 star this one, 1 and 2 star this one, 1 and 2 star this one. So too many cards. And I believe the same is true of Sydney Kidney. Let's see. So we've got 3 of Sydney Kidney down here of the completed puzzle, the blue Garbage Gang logo comic, and the red Garbage Gang logo comic. So yeah, got 6 of that one as well. Then we've got moving on. This is a fun one, where this is like a Gulliver's Travels reference with him being pinned down by all these tiny creatures. This one's pretty gruesome. This fellow grinding himself up. Ground chuck, lean Gene. And got more of the Garbage Gang comics and the puzzle piece backs. This one's kind of fun. Well, maybe fun is the wrong word. Goodbye, Hi, and Farewell, Mel. In their little garbage coffin. And you'll see this is this thing they started doing where they added these like cracks to them to make them look more like dolls. You'll see that on this guy too, Itchy Mitch, even though he's also bleeding. So I don't know. Raked Jake, this poor guy, just wanted to get a drink at the water fountain, but it's flames. Flamin' Raymond. And Hot Toddy. Now, once again, we've got a number of different versions of this card. Let's see if we're talking different backs again here. No, these are all checklist backs. Yeah, I believe there's some kind of weird variation in the card here. Yeah, so you can see in this version, the logo is visible behind the smoke. But in this version, it's not as visible. It's very subtle variation, but it is there. And I believe that's what we're looking at here in terms of the difference. Then we've got this guy who's barfing into cans to fill them up. It's just really horrible. And let's see, I believe this one is another one that has an error in it somewhere. I always have a hard time spotting them. I think this one is, okay, so this one I think it has to do with the die cut. So yes, so this one here, you can see it sort of curves in a little bit for the peel here arrow to be outside of it. And then on this one, it does not curve in. And the peel here arrow ends up being inside or partly inside the cut. So it's just a die cut error variation. I think that's the variation anyway. Well, we can also see that they've got two different backs. The Garbage Gang with the blue logo and one with the red logo. In this case, it's actually the same comic, but the logo is just a different color. And we've got over here, same guy again, Chuck and Charlie. And again, we've got the two different backs, the red and the blue logos. We've got Snotty Dotty and Frozen Flo. This poor person trying to fit into a, what do you call that? Corset. Yeah, there you go, corset. We had a guy like this before with the faces all over them. There was a guy with like Manny heads, right? With a bunch of heads popping out all over. Now it's Facey Tracy and Heads Upton. Of course, the heads are doing horrible things because they're Garbage Pail Kid heads. Here's another one with a toilet, but this time it's there's a horrible monster grabbing the person. Dire Rita and Overflow Joe. And again, you'll see the cracks on the character. More snot. And this guy is a very strange one. A gumball machine that's dispensing glass eyes. I don't think those actually exist, but there you go. False iris. We've got this person whose head is a can of anchovies that they're eating from. Sardine Candace. I really like this one. I love the art on this one. The details, all the little graffiti and the just a really great picture. It's well done. Jess Express and Choo Choo Trina. Then we've got another landscape guy. This is apparently a very dangerous child. They've got their crib with like barbed wire and danger signs and play penny. This is something they've done before. A guy who's been run over, Paved Dave and run over Grover. I think they did that a couple of times. Here's Cream Jean and Clobbered Bob getting hit by the horseshoes. There's another one with his skin coming off. Cleaned up Clint. Getting vacuumed apart. Sucked up Stefan. Another one getting split in half. Ski and Ian. This one you can actually like see all his guts. But they did add the little crack in the head there to make sure. You know, it's a doll, even though it has guts inside. Sheared Sherwood. This is one who has become a mop. Dirty Flora Gina Cleaner. Looks like I'm missing one of those. I only have one Dirty Flora. I've got the 2-star one, but not the 1-star. Some of these, even the puzzle piece back sometimes do have an asterisk on the back, so you gotta look for that. Here's a really gross one with veins all over. And they had to put some drool in there too, just for kicks. This one I like, the reversed autopsy, or the reversed dissection with the frog dissecting the kid. Very creepy and sort of horror movie, Twilight Zone-y type thing. Dissected. Another really just gruesome one. With the kid in the lunchbox and like the guts coming out. Wow. Lunch Pail Gale and Lunchbox Stew. This is a weird one with the football player who's breaking into pieces, kicking the ball. Now we've got someone who's a spare tire and someone who's a watermelon. Overripe Melanie and Walter Melon. And we've got landscape again. Shopping Carter. Super Marcus. That one's fun. Lots of details in that one. The guy getting cracked who's a nut. Cracked Sheldon and Wally Walnut. This is a particularly gross one. Lickin' Leon. And of course I had to get a bunch of... It's weird when you, as a collector, you have to... you feel like you have to get a bunch of copies of a particular card that you find really gruesome and disgusting. Like this guy's eating an iced rat on a stick. Rat Sucker Randall. And yet, he's got two different versions backs. He's got the blue logo back and the red logo back, and they both have 1 and 2 stars, so I had to get all of them, even though it's really gross. We've got Tilton Milton and Amazing Mason, who's like one of those little ball puzzle games. That's pretty cool. This guy who's a cat scratch post. This is we've got the vampire drinking the blood out of the hospital thing. Vampire and Bud Sucker. And somebody getting mixed into a bowl. Mixed up Trixie, Doughy Chloe. Oh, and then with dog on a stick. And this is another really pretty gruesome one with the umbilical cord as a yo-yo string. Oof. Yo-Yo Landa and umbilical Courtney. Wow. Here's a weird one where the logo and the Garbage Pail Kid are being erased somehow. Erased Erica and wiped out Winnie. They do have those fun, like, surreal ones sometimes. There's a baby in like a tank with a gun. Sherman tank shooting Newton. And finally, we've got Hangin' Harriet and Swingin' Sophie. That one is rough. They're usually like, regardless of what's happening to them, they still look happy, but she does not look happy. Something bad is happening to her. How long has she been hanging there? Who knows? So, yeah, a rough ending to that series. There you go. So that's series 8 through 10. Original series, Garbage Pail Kids. This is a nice long video for you. Hope you enjoyed it. I will probably be doing more. There are like 15 original series that I have all those cards, so I will be showing you more of those. And then I've got some of the series from the UK as well, which were printed in smaller card sizes. And then I've got newer series, some of the newer series as well. So yeah, plenty more to look at. Thanks for watching. See you later.